Hello all, this is a video for Patrick Stanek. He asked me the question during the week. He said, are there jobs in Scotland? He's based in Edinburgh. I'm in a medium wheelbase. I'm thinking of joining the exchange. And I've got to be honest with you, this question comes up time and time again. And I can understand why. If you've got a van and you're somewhere and you're thinking, shall I go on the exchange? Shall I go on the exchange? It's a fair amount of money to lay out. Will I make money? How much money will I make up? And so they say, fair enough, Peter, I'm in Norfolk. Peter, I'm in Leicester. Peter, I'm in London. Will I make money on the exchange? And the very short answer to this question is, I don't know. Because the problem is, there's too many imponderables. You've got to take into account where you live. You've got to take into account the size of your van. You've got to take into account what time you want to start in the morning. What time do you want to finish in the morning? Do you have responsibilities? Are you the kind of guy that wants to work 24/7? Are you prepared to tramp? Are you prepared to stay away from home? Are you prepared to go into London, into the congestion zone, for example? How much money do you need to make? There are so many factors to it. What time of year is it? Are we in lockdown? There are so many factors. It's virtually impossible. I mean, there are certain areas are better than others. Certain vans can make more money than others. But then sometimes I was speaking to a guy today. If you was watching the videos, mate, I was speaking to a guy today, and he bumped into me when I think I was doing a removal over in King's Cross when we moved the hospital wing before the COVID thing started. And he said, well, look, I'm going to start soon. What van should I get? And next to me was one of my mate Giuseppe's vans. Curtain, tail lift, Luton, Sprinter. I went, that one. That is the van you want. He said, yeah, but he said, I've got a regular customer, two regular customers. I said, well, what size van do they need? He said, they need medium wheelbases. I said, well, get a medium wheelbase. It's too difficult to tell. And I don't want to steer anybody wrongly. And also the other thing is, I've noticed you can get spoiled. I live in a very good area. I very rarely struggle to get one job in the morning. So even if I get one job in a lorry, I can get by. And I mean, it is January and it is lockdown, it is tough. And recently, very recently, today I'm sitting here, I've done one job. There's a good chance I might go home empty. But on a lorry, it's not brilliant, but I can survive on one job. Not, you know. And so, and then I started questioning myself. I'm thinking, well, Peter, should you pull your finger out? So I went tramping. Last week I went tramping. I went from Milton Keynes, I went from where I live, Dunstable, down to Slough. Then I went from Slough to Redditch. Then I went from Redditch to Milton Keynes. I went from Milton Keynes to Wales. Now I wound up in Wales. Now, I had a phenomenal day. And the next day I had the worst day I've ever had. I had one job and that wasn't worth much because it was only going around the corner. Couldn't get another job all day. So for me to turn around and tell you, yeah, get on the exchange, you'll crack it, is for me maybe to be a bit naive. Because I live in a very good area. I don't live far from Milton Keynes. Loads of jobs from Milton Keynes, Northampton, all that kind of stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you live in Norfolk and you're prepared to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning every morning and then drive to Milton Keynes and sit there at 7:30 waiting to get yourself a job, you will get yourself a job. But then if you've got to go home again at night time, there's all the extra diesel to get over there and all the extra diesel to get there and all that kind of stuff. And then you go, I've done a 12-hour day here. I've only done 2 little jobs. This isn't worth it. So what's the conclusion of this? The conclusion of this is I wouldn't want to steer anybody wrongly. All I ever say on the channel, all I ever do on the channel is my own personal experience, how it's panned out for me and how it's worked out on the exchange. It all depends on you. And I'll talk to anybody. The number's around. If you want to call me, the number is 07970 723 884. And I will talk you through your own personal circumstances. I'll ask you where you are, what you want out of it, whether you want it as pocket money, whether you want to try and make a living. And I will give you my honest opinion of whether I think it's any good for you or not. But you've got to bear in mind, it is only my opinion. And it could be rose tinted because it's worked out well for me. Like I say, when I tried yesterday to get a job not yesterday, when I tried last week to get a job out of Neath, and I got one from Merthyr Tydfil to Chepstow, and that was it. And then I drove over the Prince of Wales Bridge and all the way home, all the time, hoping to get something. I always struggle with the M4 corridor and couldn't get anything. So if you stand around me and you say, I live in Cardiff, Pete, is there work for me? And I go, yeah, there's work, and then I'm lying to you. I wouldn't want to do that to you. So if you ring me, I will give you, the number was, as previously mentioned, my best honest opinion. But if you don't want to do that, and I understand why you don't, because some people don't want to, all I'll say is this. If you do join, and I know I seem to plug it, because it's worked out for me. I think it's around about 600 quid for 6 months at the moment. I don't know. So you break that down, that's a £5 a day. Now, if you can't get one job a day, I'd be surprised. Are you going to get rich out of it? Possibly not. What are your current circumstances? You might not be working at all. You might, if you're sitting there with a van and goods in transit insurance, or you've got a normal van like your market trader. My mate Ken, we're running him at the moment. I'm just trying to show him what the other side of things, in case he wants to jack the markets in. And if he does, I'm going to let him run himself, because his running vans is a headache and it doesn't work out. But I'm just trying to help him out, basically, while he can't go to work. But yeah, if you've got a van sitting there and it's doing nothing, I don't know, you're a chippy or you're a bricklayer and you're doing nothing, and you think, I've just got to get out of the house. There are so many different things to it. So when everybody asks me, will I make money? I live here, I've got this van. It's very, very difficult for me to say. All I can say is I make money out of it, and I've done okay out of it. And also, if you are going to jump on now, don't despair if it looks like it's very hard at first, because you are jumping on at possibly the hardest part, because it's January, which is kipper season, which is tough anyway, and on top of that we got a lockdown too. I hope that helps. That is a video saying I don't know, but if I don't know, I've got to put my hands up and go, I don't know. There's no point me lying to you. So anyway, I hope you're well, as always, and I'm sitting in Scratchwood waiting for my second job. Please God. And in the meantime, I hope you're all taking care and taking money.